Jonathan Hardy, followed by Bob Beaumont, or Beaumont.
Over the years, I didn't need these in the past, that's for sure. Good evening, everybody in the committee. My name is Jonathan Hardy. I'm a resident both of Meriden and Hartford due to work and everything, and grew up in this neighborhood, just a few blocks away, still live a few blocks away. And I strongly oppose this bill, HB 4050. First of all, I'd like to stop with a lot of legislators just giving us a scarlet letter and branding us just because we're gun owners. I'm getting sick of coming up here every year to try to defend why I should have this right. I'm a little different than a lot of the people you heard tonight. I live in a messed up neighborhood. Vast majority of the shootings in my neighborhood, Senator Fanfara can tell you, I live on Bond Street in Hartford. Okay? But let me tell you, my neighbors, we need our protections more than most because we have the crime. But yet, you're going to tax those that least can afford it to be able to exercise that right, to be able to have the basic human right and be able to defend themselves. I am a firearms instructor, and I'm a firearms salesman as well. I work in the Waterbury at the gun store, so I work in a high violent crime neighborhood city there, and I live in one. I deal with these quote-unquote safe havens every day. I'm going to tell you something I've never said in the 12 or so years I've been testifying up here. I've had to use my firearms twice in personal defense. Both times I did not have to pull the trigger, though. Both times were within 2,500 yards of where I'm sitting right now. Once, just off Park Street near Zion Street. The other one is right over here by the Bank of America. The criminals didn't know I was depositing money instead of taking it out, so they had that backwards, but that didn't matter. Why did I not have to pull my trigger? Number one reason, training. Like a lot of gun owners, I give myself additional training every year. I teach, therefore I take lessons every year myself as part of my business plan. It's that training that lets me have the judicious mindset to know when to pull, when not to pull. You want to remove that training from almost 300,000 permit holders in this state? Good luck with that one. Mushinsky mentioned earlier about suicide. And let me tell you about suicide. It's affected my family as well. I'm sick and tired of hearing it in gun crime stats because my aunt committed suicide. She could have used a gun. She had access to one. But she chose to drown herself. You want to raise 35% more taxes on water? This is getting ridiculous. Where is it going to stop? And let's be honest, this funding, if it's passed, is going to go fund special interest groups and everything else that have an agenda other than ours. That is ridiculous. You're going to take from Peter to give to Paul, but in this case, take from the gun owner to give to the anti-gun owner, and there's no other way in between. It's about as effective as the general fund is in this state, and you guys all know where I'm going with this, all right? You want to know about how gun owners were asked a lot of questions earlier about what we would do to change a lot of this? As an instructor, I know at least a half a dozen people in this room that would join me. Wouldn't cost you a dime. I've said this before. We will volunteer to teach these programs. We have the experience. A lot of the anti-gun groups don't. They practice gun safety. How do you practice gun safety if you don't own a gun? You don't know what a gun does. We're the instructors. We'll go out there and we will teach this stuff. And I'll wrap up. But finally, if this bill does pass, I'll tell you one thing for damn sure. I'm obviously a middle-aged guy with a white minivan with a better dead than Ned sticker on it in the garage. Let me tell you, I'll be the first person in the world to be going out to New Hampshire where I'm not paying taxes. I'll probably charge a 10% bag tax like, this house has done just to cover my expenses. And I'll bring ammo from a free state over here in this Connecticut, and I will be a smuggler because all this is a sin tax. I'm practicing a self-defense right and a natural right that I have, period. I'll be available for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hardy, for your testimony. Are there any questions or comments from Mr. Hardy? Seeing none, thank you very much. Bob Beaumont, followed by Lawrence Torino.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bob Beaumont. I'm from Wallingford.